We're back. Welcome back to another Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Melissa.
And I'm your host, Matt.
We're back, Matt.
We're back.
What's going on in your life?
Life is busy. It's been a crazy 2021. As the viewers may or may not know, I am planning a wedding. So that's a hard process. It's been a long process with a lot of detail stuff, but we picked a date, we picked a venue. So we're like making baby steps. We are slowly but surely getting to where we want to be with the wedding. So that's nice, but it's also very time consuming. And so it's just been very busy on my end in terms of that and with work and everything. And plus there really hasn't been that much to break down recently, really. But we're back now. And I think it's a good time to start because we're building up some nice tension for 2022. And then obviously Book of Boba Fett is going to be dropping at the end of this year. And then we have a lot more Star Wars content coming out. So it's an appropriate time for us to return.
Yes. Just a little information for people who still don't know. Matt's engagement that he is referring to is still to Captain Hauser. So if you guys are still upset about that, I'm sorry, but that wedding is still in full swing.
It's in full swing, and that's why I'm growing the beard. As you guys can see, I'm very rustic now. I got the flannel on. I'm in winter mode, Matt. Now you got to look rustic for Christmas time.
Yeah, my life has been pretty busy as well. A lot of changes, a lot of work in the job, a lot of applications for new jobs, a lot of just boring life stuff I don't want to drown you guys in. So let us delve into some Star Wars.
Yay.
So I thought we'd kick it off with talking about that rather disappointing DisneyPlus day about a month ago. Well, not quite a month ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago now. That was definitely not, it was a little anticlimactic, I would say. Although I don't know, there was some rumors going around the Star Wars Disney Twitter about, potentially an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, which we didn't get, but I don't even know where that rumor came from. I don't know who said that. I was actually surprised when I first heard that, like, oh, it's going to be out that soon. That seems really soon to have a trailer for a show that's not going to come out for a while. Mm-hmm. So it was already kind of seemed too good to be true for me. So I guess I wasn't that shocked. I was definitely disappointed the day of, but yeah, it was a little underwhelming, I would say.
The memes alone that came from the Disney Plus day, it's just all the Anakin memes. You probably saw our account, guys. We posted a couple, but just the memes that came from no Star Wars content at all were gold in of itself. So that was great. But I am kind of surprised because they did have a video at the end of the Disney Plus day, like showcasing like all the new stuff that was coming out. And they had stuff for like Bad Batch and the Andor show, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I thought that was really weird. So it looks like Disney had plans to release stuff, and then they kind of retracted it at the last minute. So I thought that was really, really weird. I agree with you. I think it's a bit early to be saying anything from the Kenobi show, but one can hope. I mean, we got that little sizzle reel, which was kind of a cool glimpse into the series, but I thought at least we were going to get like a teaser trailer. So
yeah, it would have been nice, but we do have a Book of Boba Fett trailer officially out now.
We do.
So we can at least talk about that. What were your thoughts on that?
So I'm going to be straight up honest with everybody on the show, and nobody kill me, but Boba Fett's always been one of those characters where I've been like, you are very cool looking, and I respect the hype, but I don't necessarily get it, and I feel like The Mandalorian actually gave me a reason to look at the character and go, oh, okay, I understand why people are excited, because they actually gave Boba a character in The Mandalorian. And even back in Clone Wars, they started to give him more of an arc instead of being like, oh, that's the cool guy with the armor. So I do respect that, but I watched the trailer and it does look very interesting. It looks like we're going to delve into the crime syndicate world, but I don't know if it necessarily changed my hype level.
Yeah,
for the show.
It didn't for me. It definitely did not change my hype level. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. Like, I agree with what you just said. Like, I totally agree. There's this weird cult following of Boba Fett that was before he was in The Mandalorian again. And like, it was always people's favorite character. He's in the movie for like 6 minutes total. Like, he's not in it a lot. He's a cool character, but he's not like, the craziest, coolest one, in my opinion. But then you bring him into The Mandalorian, and I thought it was like, did so much justice and made it more interesting. And it was definitely more hype and gave me a reason to care a lot more. He's a total badass. And it was fun to watch. But with the trailer, it's like, I texted you about this. It's like, they're definitely are hiding stuff on purpose. I think all of the footage from that trailer is from the first episode, probably within the first 15 minutes of the first episode. And you can tell.
They did the same thing with Mandalorian. Like all the shots in the season 2 trailer are all from the first episode.
Yeah. And that's on purpose. They want to keep it under wraps, but they also want to give the fans something to kind of look forward to. I think it looks fine. But I don't really have a lot to go off. There's a lot they can do. Like we've discussed before, it's called the Book of Boba Fett. So it can jump around from time period to time period. And there could be a lot of things that they do. And I think they're just kind of to keep it kind of tight to the chest, but also give the fans something that like, all right, it's shot, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, you can start getting excited now. So I think it's good. But until I see the first episode, it's like, all right, I want to just like get going with it and start watching it and get into the storyline. But it wasn't anything like super hype in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't like jaw dropping or like, oh my God, like this looks amazing or whatnot. And, you know, they do that to hype people up. And I'm totally open to the prospect of watching the show and having my mind blown. And I think they're going to do things that are totally awesome. Again, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are in charge of the show. They're directing it. They're overseeing the story. It's going to be like under their control. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do and how it builds up the universe. Cause it is a cool idea. It's a cool story to see like what happened to Jabba's crime underworld empire and how did Boba manipulate that into being what he wanted it to be. So I am open to seeing what they do with it. I just don't know if it's necessarily like oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I agree. I am looking forward to it, but also at the same time, this time of year, I keep getting like notifications on my time hop and like Facebook way back, like look back thingy. And it's like, this is the time of year of Mandalorian season 2, which is one of my favorite seasons of any TV show ever. I thought it was stellar. And so I'm like kind of bummed out like that we don't get that this year. We have to wait a whole nother year before we get that again. But you know, at least we got Book of Boba Fett, which will be cool. We'll fill in a lot of holes, and it's just, I think it's the most exciting thing about it is like the possibilities are endless, and that people like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are in charge of it, and they're going to do right by that character, and they're going to do a good job putting the show together. It's not going to be poorly thought out. Oh yeah, absolutely. I guess that leads me into my next statement. Our next breakdown series is officially the Bob Breakdown, as I like to refer to it. It is the Book of Boba Breakdown, or BOB for short. Yeah. So we will be breaking down the series weekly. We're going to have to see how things go with our schedules, but we'll probably keep up the reaction videos if we have time. You know, things have been really wonky for us guys, so we're going to have to see if we can keep up with those, but I still like to do that. But that is going to be our regular breakdown series starting the week of December 29th, I think is when the show airs. Yeah, December 29th. I'll be in England for 2 weeks starting on the 13th. So that's a little glimpse of what my schedule is looking like. I'll be traveling for the holidays. I'll be in London with my fiance's family and friends. But luckily we get back on the 28th. So it's the day before. So should be able to record reaction videos. I don't see why not. The day after the show airs, that's my birthday, December 30th. So it's just in time for my birthday. And you're going to be turning 16. Yes, I am the ripe old age of 16. I'm like Benjamin Button. I age reverse. I just look younger with every year. You look great. Thank you. But yeah, how many, do we know how many episodes are in this season? Yes, it's 7. So it's about the same length as Mando season 1. It was 7, wasn't it, for Mando? So are they releasing 2 in the first week again, or no? I actually don't know. I don't think so. They haven't said anything about that, but I'm pretty sure the first episode is going to be like 50 minutes. And then they'll go into the weekly thing that'll probably lead into the very end of January if it's only 7 episodes. Got it. And so we'll have about 2 months. It'll be about 2 months of the show, which is great. I think that's perfect. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do and what other things they set up for all the other new Star Wars content, including the Ahsoka show and Obi-Wan, and who knows what they're gonna do in terms of bringing certain characters in and bringing in new characters and developing Boba and Fennec. And I think it's going to be great. So do you have any anticipations for the show? Is there anything that like you want to see in particular, or are you just kind of like, I'm open to whatever? Because initially you and I were theorizing a few months ago that it could be jumping around in Boba's timeline. But after seeing that trailer, it looks more Crime Syndicate modern day focused.
for
Yeah, I
him.
think that's what they're trying to throw you off the scent a little bit here, because it's called the book.
You
I mean,
think?
it's called the Book of Boba Fett. It's if it was not going to be like, they're going to have to explain some things, how he gets out of the Sarlacc pit. That's before the show. They're going to have to do a flashback there, and Tamara Morrison already said they're going to do justice by that story and explain it. We'll definitely see that, and obviously, I think not having Cad Bane in here would be a crime
I was
against
just gonna
humanity.
say.
So I think we'll see him, and that's going to have to be in the past, right? So
Right.
I think that'll probably show up as well. And now what they do in terms of, I think the crime syndicate will be its own A plot, like throughout the whole season. But we're definitely going to have some B plots and C plots that are flashbacks or whatever it is, with some fun Easter eggs in there. So I think we could probably expect that. I could be totally wrong, but I hope I'm not.
Do you think we're going to get Mando Grogu storyline continuation in this show?
I don't
like a little
so.
side plot, because I've been hearing rumors ever since January of this year that Mando's going to show up in the Book of Boba Fett.
I'm sure he'll show up in an episode. He'll be in an episode like Ahsoka was, right? In Mando, I think it'll be some kind of thing where he shows up. It's fun. You have him there. I don't know that we'll see Grogu. That'd be cool, but I just have a feeling they're going to try to lay off that character for a while until they figured out the right story arc for him next. Like, what's the next stage in his life? And they might save that for Mandalorian season 3. That would be my guess, but you could be totally right. I think we'll definitely see Mando at some point.
Further to that, I don't want to write this off, because ever since we got Luke in Mando season 2, do you think that there's a potential of seeing anything of Luke or even a mention in Book of Boba Fett? Because if you really think about it, because I watched the trailer right before we got on this call, do you think that we would get some mention of Luke or a Luke cameo? Because Luke took down like Jabba's little empire 5 years prior, and he's bound to hear about this and like something going on with the underworld. And obviously Tatooine hits really close to home for Luke Skywalker. And so I'm wondering, after watching the trailer again, is this something that, they would maybe mention in this show, be it something small or something bigger? Because now that they brought Luke into the game and they're showing us that, Luke's really active in this timeline and he's doing his Jedi thing and he's making his way around planets and he's collecting younglings for the Jedi Order. I'm just wondering, is there potential there to get a Luke cameo or a mention?
I think they'll mention him. I doubt we'll see a cameo. And the reason why is that was already a big enough risk and big enough cameo as it was with Mando. And you don't want to dilute the character. And you don't want to, that's an easy card to pull for like fan service. If you don't do it correctly, it dilutes who he is and why he's such a special character, I think. And so that's why I would think we don't see him. I could see them mentioning him, but I don't see him showing up in the show. And frankly, I don't know if I would want to see him showing up in the show. I kind of like it because also you have to remember Luke's like in this stage where he's kind of becoming mythology and legend. Like he's not Luke doesn't want to be out in the spotlight doing all this stuff, right? He's just trying to rebuild the order. That's why we see him with Grogu. Grogu sends this little force signal to Luke. So Luke comes and all right, obviously that's motivation for him, but I don't see Luke going out there and like getting involved in, the Hutt's old business dealings or with Boba or any of that stuff. I could definitely see him getting mentioned, but I think his story right now is more kind of like on the down low. And so I don't think it's super likely we actually see the character. I could be totally wrong, but that's just my gut feeling.
It's just, I feel like the end of The Mandalorian season 2 basically said anything is on the table, especially with the characters that showed up throughout that season, like Bo-Katan, the Night Owls, you have Ahsoka Tano. I never thought we were going to see Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. And so that blew my mind. And then further to that, you get Luke freaking Skywalker at the end of the season. You're like, oh my God, what else are they going to bring in? So it's just kind of like, I mean, honestly, if the only thing that happened in Book of Boba Fett was we get a Cad Bane appearance, I would be like, okay, that's fine. That's great. That's all I want. Like the show's satisfactory for me.
I think they're going to try to make the character stand alone, though, because you have to remember with that was Mandalorian season 2 where anything was possible, but they wanted the character to be able to stand on its own as this new character that we can see. And then you introduce other things to help fill in the gaps and tell the stories of Star Wars that we all know and love and introduce those characters back in. But it took one season of like establishing who he was as a person to kind of get to that point. And I think it'll probably be something similar with Book of Boba Fett, where they want the character to kind of stand on his own, have his own storyline, do his own thing, and have his own motivations. And there'll be a couple cool Easter eggs in there, like could be mentioned of Luke or Ahsoka or even Obi-Wan, since they're on Tatooine. Who knows? But I think my guess would be they want this season to kind of, all right, let's do justice for Boba Fett, a character that a lot of people like. Let's let him play out his story and focus on him. That would be my assumption.
I'm just thinking Fennec, and maybe Fennec less so, but Fennec and Boba are already established. It's not like you have to take an entire season to get to know them. I mean, maybe get to know them in this period of time and what they're doing and how they relate to the world around them. But it's not like people don't know who they are. I mean, especially after like Bad Batch season 1, you get Fennec Shand coming in and she's like pursuing Omega in the Bad Batch and she's working for the Kaminoans. So we have knowledge of her. I don't entirely disagree with you when you talk about it being honed in on these characters, but it's not like we need to get to know them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's get to know them. I think it's just focus on them and their character development, because they're cool, but they weren't the focal point of Mandalorian season 2. Like, I want to hear more about Boba talking about his past and talk about Jango and talk about how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and talk about his life and like where he wants to take things. I think that's what everyone wants. You want more development. It's not like we don't know them, but you want to see the characters be the characters, right?
So you want Boba Fett sitting down with a literal book and reading to the audience?
Yes, I do. I want like a journal. I want him bringing out his little diary from when he was 10, living in Camino. But that would be cool, right? I mean, I think a fun thing would be if Boba ran into an old clone, like a Rex or somebody.
Oh my God.
That would be awesome.
That would be so amazing.
Like, if that would be really hard to film. I don't know how they would do that. If like you had multiple clones, or like, the Bad Batch shows up somehow. But
I wonder if we get some Bad Batch mentions eventually in the show. Maybe not season 1. I'd kind of write off season 1. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence at this point. But like with the Bad Batch setup, that is very clearly, to me, going to tie into Book of Boba Fett, because Omega would still be around unless she dies brutally as a child, which I don't think happens.
Yeah, and that's another thing that could tie into the show. Totally. That's a great point to bring up, actually, because that's a sister.
Yep.
They could easily bring in live action. That would be really cool. You could have mentions of the other bounty hunters like Dengar and Bosk and all those. So
Bosk is still around.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So I think they'll want to mention those guys too. That would, again, be my assumption. Like, you want to really focus on his world, his internal world. You might get some mentions of Vader and like how Boba started working for Vader, like, and how he got to know him, and how he became such a prominent bounty hunter. We don't really have those gaps filled in yet. So that could also be a direction that the show goes. But you also could be right when you talk about just focusing on the crime syndicate aspect of it, and where he picks up after Big Fat Jabba died and left off.
Big Fat Boba.
So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here, and that's what's exciting about it. There is anything on the table. I agree with you, but I think they want to keep things at least somewhat reined in, so we're not just throwing characters in for the sake of throwing them in.
No, absolutely, and I'm not saying that's what I want to see. I am all for putting story first before throwing random cameos here and there, because it definitely detracts from the story that you're trying to tell, and the audience can easily lose focus. I don't necessarily want them to make it a cameo show. I just think it would be cool if they use those other characters to further his story, since characters like Cad Bane were so prominent in the formation of who he becomes. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, they should definitely approach it with a Luke Skywalker sense of caution. But I would like to see those characters included, because they were a big part of Boba's story. So, no, but with that being said, we derailed once again. There's a lot of Star Wars news that actually came out.
Let's talk about it.
So other than the disappointing DisneyPlus day, where we didn't get anything except for that one sizzle reel, which was very cool, I will give it that, but it was kind of a disappointing day overall. Hayden Christensen is officially in Ahsoka.
Yes. I know. Crazy news. Awesome. Also makes a lot of sense.
Perfect.
I'm just happy that he's so willing to be doing this stuff. So super exciting. I think that will, there's so many possibilities with what they can do there, but that's going to hit us all in the feels when it comes out.
Well, there's no way they could do that show without him.
Yeah.
They
No,
they
you gotta
can't
have
do
him.
that show without him. You have to have him. And the where my brain goes is I'm thinking, okay, Force Ghost Anakin talking to Ahsoka, but Force Ghost Anakin talking to Ahsoka and Luke would make me lose my mind. Oh my God.
It would be everything we need to see. See, the thing about this stuff though, that's makes me kind of sad is like, if you're a new Star Wars fan or you don't watch these shows until after they come out, then those gaps are already filled in. You get to go through the same journey that all of us other Star Wars fans got to go through, of the waiting and the anticipation to see some of these characters come back. Like, I love Hayden Christensen. Revenge of the Sith is up there with my favorite Star Wars movies. I love it. And I would like being able to see him come back is going to be like just an awesome moment, both in Obi-Wan and in Ahsoka, and to see, you know, the long path it's been to this point. It's been a long wait, but exciting to see. And I'm glad that he decided to come back. And I think that Ahsoka show in particular is going to be just full of goodies.
Oh my God. I can't even express my excitement, but to further add to the casting of the Ahsoka show, there was a new role cast, and I'm going to botch her name, and I'm so sorry, but I think it's Ivana Sakano. Oh yeah, Ivana Sakano.
Yeah,
she has been cast as a new character in Ahsoka. I saw a lot of theories going around that she could be playing like Barriss Offee from Clone Wars, but I think she's like totally brand new. Yeah, I don't think she's.
That's the impression I got too when I read that, was like they're bringing in someone completely new, like Carl Weathers and Mandalorian. And
yeah. I have no idea what she would play. An Inquisitor, past Jedi, somebody that they meet who is part of the new Empire. I don't know, and I have no record of this woman's acting talent. Like, I don't know what she's been in. So, I mean, I don't know. So
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to like go in with no expectations and just see what kind of performance she brings, see what the character's like, you know? And I think that's a good way to approach it. It's just like, all right, let's just see her in action and see what, you know, how she fits into the story. And I'm sure it'll work out great, but they have quite the cast now.
Yeah. They also have Natasha Liu Bordesio as Sabine Wren. We got Sabine.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That came out, what was that, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. She's officially Sabine Wren. That's exciting. I don't know anything about her acting career. I have never seen her in anything. I love the fact that they're bringing in all these new faces that we're not familiar with. I'm really appreciative of that because it just allows for some new talent in the Star Wars universe. So I do respect that, but I'm interested to see what she brings to the table.
Yeah, she definitely looks the part.
Yeah, she definitely looks Sabine. I'm interested to see how they do her hair, because Sabine's hair at the end of Rebels is like this dark purple, and she's known for being a very artsy character. So it'll be cool to see how they bring that in. And I don't think Lucasfilm ever confirmed Mina Masood, but I feel like it's safe to say that Mina Masood is going to be Ezra Bridger.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that too, given the hints he's given out.
He
hasn't been super subtle about it.
He's so Ezra Bridger has, like, the first season of Rebels, when it came out, he was nicknamed Space Aladdin, like back in 2014. and then Mina Masood playing Aladdin. It's like, I don't know, if he's not Ezra at this point, it is a huge miss because of the Aladdin connection alone. So I hope that's true. I think it's true. It would be weird if it wasn't true, but Mina Masood, Natasha, Rosario Dawson, like, let's go. I'm hyped.
When does that one come out? Does that 2023?
I think that's spring 2023.
2023. Yeah.
Maybe, if you want to look it up and correct me. Now all I need is
Thanos here.
Well, now all I need is Tamora Morrison as Rex, and my life is made.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh. I just want that announcement to come out so bad. Matt, you like don't even understand. Like, if the day the casting announcement comes up for Tamora Morrison as Rex, I think I'm going to have a seizure.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he's got so much that he could do. Like,
I mean, he's said in interviews, he's like, I want to play Captain Rex. He's like, just give me the part, I will play it. He's the perfect age.
So just to circle back real quick, I did just look it up. Ahsoka is supposed to start filming this spring, and then will be released next spring. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I bet that'll be pushed though. Just knowing
how COVID is,
the way Disney works and the state of the world right now, I'm sure that'll be pushed to like summer of 2023. But it's going to be a long wait, but worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it. I'm just hyped. I just give me Captain Rex in the show, Dave. Please.
Yeah, do the right
Please.
thing. Do the right thing.
Please just cast Tamora Morrison as Rex. That's all I ask. That's all I want. Oh, and the final Star Wars announcement or news. I can't speak today. Have you noticed that? I can't speak.
You're fine. It's just weekend brain.
It is weekend brain. We've been off our game for a while, so you guys are going to have to forgive me.
Yeah, we're a little rusty, whatever.
Who cares? So there have been rumors of a Darth Maul animated show in pre-production. Did you hear that?
I hear this. Very cool. Again, one of the coolest characters. I'm glad we've been able to kind of like resurrect him since he was so tragically killed in 1999. One of the best bad guys we've had, but his evolution as a character has been really cool. So I think an animated show kind of focusing on him and tying up some loose ends with him would be a slam dunk, and it would do very well. And it could potentially tie into this mysterious acolyte show that'll probably be about some kind of Sith training thing.
I didn't even think about that.
So could potentially do that in the same way that Bad Batch ties in with Mando and Book of Boba Fett and all that.
Well, I was thinking, if you remember at the end of the Clone Wars, like you see Maul talking to all the crime syndicates, including Dryden Voss from Solo, and he's like one of the main leading characters that's just driving that underground world. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they did this entire show to kind of show Maul's manipulation of that time period and what he was doing up until his meeting with Obi-Wan on Tatooine, where Obi-Wan finally kills him.
Yeah. There's a lot to fill in there. And, it was hype at the end of Solo. One of the only good parts of the movie, in my opinion, was at the very end when you get to see him. Yeah. I'd love to see what happens with him. If we got to see another live action Maul somewhere, that would be amazing, which again, potentially this would be a long shot, but like Book of Boba Fett maybe kind of makes sense to be like, he's around at that time.
No, I think he's dead.
No, he's not in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, no, he's dead because the Mandalorian timeline and the Book of Boba Fett timeline are during the exact same moment, and it's 5 years after.
So
and
Obi-Wan's
Maul was killed.
Already. Right.
Yeah, Maul was killed like a year before A New Hope happened.
But if it is, my theory is correct with jumping around in timelines with chapters in the book, you could potentially jump back somewhere and find him in the storyline somewhere. I mean, now that's a long shot, I think, but you never know. Anything's on the table.
Or he just didn't die. Obi-Wan didn't kill him again.
He didn't die again. He somehow Maul returned.
Somehow Maul returned.
Just like Palpatine.
Oh, I'd hate them if they did that. That would be the worst.
Very lazy. Yeah.
Very lazy. Somehow Palpatine returned. And somehow,
the worst line in any movie. God.
And somehow Oscar Isaac delivered it exactly as everyone was thinking it. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Oh, wow. Great explanation. Thanks.
For your multi-billion-dollar franchise.
We couldn't have had a little bit more detail here. Oh.
No, I think Maul, anybody could show up in the Book of Boba Fett. Maul played a huge part in manipulating the crime underworld. So we could get a reference to him on how he did that, or just maybe a little semblance of a flashback. But I think the Maul animated show makes sense. There were reports that like Sam Witwer, his voice actor, was recording for him.
Yeah, there was supposed to be that Maul video game a couple of years back that never
ended
up getting finished, I think because of the acquisition of Disney and Star Wars. But there's a lot of footage of that game online, and it looks like it would have been amazing.
Is there?
So yeah, there's some. If you want to go, you can look at some gameplay footage of that. It looks like it would have been such a sick game, but unfortunately, that's what happens when studios get bought out, and these things happen. That things get shelved or completely X'd, like Battlefront 3, the original Battlefront 3. Something happened there. So
what a waste.
That's a bummer, but seeing a show like that, I'm for it. Bring it on.
Yeah. It's going to be great. I mean, we're going to have no shortage of stuff to talk about, and there's so much coming out within the next 3 years alone. It's just going to be like overwhelming. It's going to be a bombardment of Star Wars, but I'm here for it. I'm excited. I don't know if you heard anything else, but I think that's all for our Star Wars news. I think we just got it all covered in one go. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have been rebranding the show. We're trying to make the show higher quality. We're trying to bring better content for you. You probably noticed we have a new logo now, which I designed and reanimated. Thank you. Yep. Let me know what you guys think of that. Anything else you want to add on the show, Matt, before we close this out?
No, it's good to be back. Good to be recording again. And we're going to have a busy 2022, I believe. So stay tuned for all of that. If you haven't yet, go like and subscribe on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and anywhere else you want to consume things. Also, fun fact, you'll be able to watch these videos on Spotify now. I think we got to figure out how to do that, but we got whitelisted for Spotify's new video podcast beta. So we'll be testing that out. So if you want to watch videos on there, you should be able to do that now. We're going to try to figure that out for you guys, but that's exciting. And then give us a nice review if you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a nice 5-star, helps us in the rankings, helps us boost it up. And we love hearing from you guys. So obviously commenting on the YouTube is great as well. I love to hear different fan theories, and I'm always screwing stuff up. And you guys always correct me on my lack of knowledge here. So we always love that. So if you feel so inclined, go leave a comment.
Yeah. I mean, we love reading them all. It's all fun. We want you guys to feel included in this process as we try to break everything down and figure out what is going on in the Star Wars universe. So with that being said, please continue to like and subscribe. Leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help, and we are very appreciative of it. And we will officially be back the week of December 29th, 2021. So we will see you guys then, and may the Force be with you.
See you later.